Ladies and gentlemen, we've done it. We've done it again for the 9th straight year. We've done it. Together, Portland, we've done it for the 9th year in a row. The 9th straight season. We got eliminated from the playoffs. Like that again. Because we have such amazing superstars, such incredible leadership from them, and such a great coach, and an amazing general manager in Neil O'Shea. Honestly, he's just so savvy with those, younger players that suddenly break out with us and every year, and, cheap 3-4 year contracts, and just do so much for us to keep us in the same spot we've been in every single year for 9 years straight. Isn't it great? We're such an amazing team. The record of 9 straight years, or record, in terms of the fact that we're the only NBA team that's made the playoffs for 9 straight seasons, 9 straight years. A decade, just about. Next year would be a decade, God forbid. You think, okay, that's something to cheer yourself on about. That's really good, right? That's great, right? That's a good thing, right? No. I mean, normally, yes. In this case, no. No, it's fucking not. It's a terrible thing. You know why? This is what I fucking mean when I say this team is stuck in fucking mediocrity ever since Neil O'Shea and Terry Stotts got here and took the helms, the leadership positions. It's because it's a fact. We're in mediocrity. This is what I mean by that. The fact that we keep getting eliminated super fast every single year in the playoffs. And again, so often we've had teams that, whether it's fans or analysts or other people, even opponents' fan bases are like, that's a team that's going to win a lot of games, and then we don't. That should fucking say something to you. That should say something to you, especially you fucking Blazers fans who are on the other half of this polarized fan base, constantly coming up with excuses and demanding people like us, who are the fucking realists, who are putting it all out there, the reality of it, the real one, of how shoddy this team is, and the staff are, and even our leadership, our superstars are. It's especially you guys who need to fucking recognize there is a problem, and it's a problem we've had since they got here. Where do you think the problem's coming from? That's an answer you'll never get out of those fans. But we got you the answer because it's in your fucking face. It's Neil O'Shea, the general manager of the Portland Trail Blazers. It's Terry Stotts, the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers. Both of them are unadaptable. Both of them refuse to learn how to adapt. Both of them refuse to give the effort to adapt. Both of them refuse to grow. Both of them refuse to learn and expand. Both of them refuse to change or do anything differently. Both of them refuse to add anything to their skill sets of their positions. Tiny dick, yes, we know. You're compensating. But both of them are responsible for these positions, okay? So, yes, you have to know this is the problem. They are a huge source of the problem. They're not exclusively it, but they are easily the main players, the sports that doesn't really work contextually, because they're like, oh, they're not players though. We know they're not players. You know they're not players. I know they're not players. You know what I mean when I say players. There's players that, as in the people who play into the problems. They are the two main sources, or at least the most dominant sources, of this damn team's constant playoffs mediocrity. And that's just a fact. Like, you can deny it all you want, but you're just delusional. You're intentionally trying to convince yourself of something that is simply factually incorrect. Those two have to go yesterday. Those two, along with CJ McCollum, are the three problems that we have. that are dominating the reason why we're stuck in this playoffs mediocrity. This mediocrity of just being stuck perpetually in good enough land, which is apparently Neil O'Shea's and Terry Stott's life mottos. Because if it's good enough, in this case, apparently it has been for 9 straight years. That's why they get their big-ass 5-year extensions as their, contracts. Why? Oh, right. Because it's good enough to get their paychecks. That's the only reason why they refuse to adapt. Because they don't need to if they want to keep their positions and keep collecting paychecks. In other words, they don't give a fuck. They don't care. They don't give a damn. And it's getting really fucking frustrating. We just got eliminated 4-2 in our own home court. It's inexcusable. It is. It's just simply inexcusable. So, I'm going to read off a post I made, which is basically a hot take opinion post. Just putting it in grave detail as I do out there. And I'm going to read it off to you so that you get it straightforward without me looping and branching off and starting to rant about different things and never really getting back to my point, which I have a bad tendency with. So the Blazers lost this game. That is, of course, today, June 3rd, 2021, versus the Nuggets in our own home court, because of course we did. We lost this game due to A, typical bad play calling, and B, terrible fourth quarter officiating. It's a blatant 50-50 of how we lost that game. Both of those specifically came in the fourth quarter at the same time. I never make excuses for losses, and I am even the guy who calls out something that is blatantly against us when called, or even when, with replays, it proves something was in favor of the opponents. I really do. That's exactly the kind of guy I am. And the fan I am. I'm the first guy to go and bark it out. So the fact is with this one, it's equally both of the aforementioned factors that led to the loss. So we're gone out of the playoffs yet again this year for the 9th year in a row. It also proves exactly, yet again, why Neil O'Shea, Terry Stotts, and CJ all have to go. They have needed to go for longer than the last 2 seasons. All of their consistent detriments to this team are on repeat every single season and every single playoffs. And this year, man, were they both glaringly blatant. For Neil O'Shea, that's intentionally being complacent, not willing to actually try to improve the team at all, but instead sit right where we have been the entire time he's been here. Just good enough. Good enough to be a yearly playoff team. For Terry Stotts, it's his lack of adaptability, a lack of will to adapt, his lack of ability to coach and game plan defensively, and also, therefore, for him, the same with Neil O'Shea, just being good enough. For CJ, it's the fact he has never been able to defend for his life. Even when he gives his honest best efforts to try to defend, he can't defend for his life. He's one of the single worst defenders in this league, period. Additionally, CJ is 30 plus, streaky, of course being inconsistent offensively, and is on a near max contract too. Therefore, CJ must go now. This series and season also, once again, proves exactly why CJ should have been the guy we traded and not Scary Gary, Gary Trent Jr., the pit off the chain. Scary Gary is young and has endless potential and fire in his soul on and off the court, progresses super rapidly, which is intensely rare, and it really is. And his passion, fire, and heart I have yet to see in a single player in the NBA for at least the last 20 years. Every single play, every single moment, every single second, he gives his all and then some, throwing himself onto the ground even many times a game, hustling to save the ball and a possession / force a fast break. He is a full-on two-way guy and all-around player already that fast. And it was stupid fast because last season, he barely got much of any time until really late and in through the playoffs. This year, he got even more time until we traded him. Like a bunch of morons. First half of last season, though, he didn't get remotely as much time as he really should have. And then the season before that, he got basically no chance. So it's stupid fast. Like, you could see even this year how intensely rapidly he picked up, and same at the end of last season, how intensely rapidly he was improving. Like, and literally solidifying those improvements so that they're permanent. And like, literally, you were watching it game to game. You would literally see new, blatantly obvious improvements. He improved that much game to game, and they were consistent. They stuck. Once he improved in the department, it stuck for good. He is stupid talented already. He is too underrated right now. He blatantly is a superstar in the making type of player. And to have refused him the ability and right to take over CJ's spot and role and trade CJ instead is absolutely inexcusable, and it really is. Now we're stuck instead with a 30-plus-year-old who can't defend for his life, is streaky offensively, unlike Gary, and is on a near-max contract, who, mind you, by the way, is also not exactly sturdy, because he tends to average 10 to 25 games a season out with injuries. Why is that a guy you think is better to keep than the fiery, passionate, never tired out, and determined two-way young gun? I mean, really, there's simply no defending that choice at all. Period. So again, it's simple. The Portland Trail Blazers must fire Neil O'Shea and Terry Stotts, and then trade CJ McCollum for an actually competent, quality, two-way set of players / picks on sensible contracts this offseason. These three things have to happen, or else we're just going to continue down the same path to be stuck in this exact same state of constant playoffs mediocrity, guaranteed to be quickly eliminated for the playoffs every single year, as we have been the entire time. All 9 seasons, we've had them here. And why do you think, this again especially goes out to those damn Blazers fans who are on the polar opposite side of who are on the opposite side from where fans like me are on the spectrum, because this fan base is like split down the middle 50-50 and super transposed. You have the excuse makers on that side, which this is specific to, especially needs to pay fucking attention. And then, you have the realists like me on the other side pointing out this kind of bullshit. So this is especially important for those kind of excuse-making fans to pay close attention to. Because why the hell do you think we have been stuck here in this exact position every single season, all 9 seasons, 9 years straight, that we've had those 3 at the helm, that we've had them leading the team? Well, A, because Neil O'Shea is a general manager. He's a GM. And guess who the GM is? He's the guy who's responsible for the staff, coaching, so the coaches. Who would have thought? As well as the roster, so the players. CJ and the Gary Trent Jr. trade. Who would have thought, right? Terry, obviously our head coach, because he's the goddamn head coach. He's the leader of the team and the man responsible for the game plan, playbook, and schemes the players follow game to game. And then, of course, we have CJ, who is the co-superstar player and co-leader / team captain for the team, with Dame, and thus starter at shooting guard for us, whose responsibility, as all players, is to consistently improve and get better in every department each season, and to defend well and to score well each game. One of those things he's incompetent at. I wonder what it could be. Maybe it's something I've already mentioned, like defense. And never has worked on his entire career. In other words, hasn't learned, hasn't grown, hasn't worked to improve it, which is part of the responsibility of a damn leading player like that. So am I suggesting with this will fix all the team's issues and problems and make us improve overnight? Obviously not. Of course not. It's simply the required necessary first steps towards such progress. Obviously, once done, it requires a dedicated, determined, and smart, savvy, and skilled GM who'd replace Neil O'Shea to make the right and good moves that set the team up for long-term success. Hiring the right staff that are adaptable and are two-way coaches, balanced in both offensive and defensive systems, which is obviously fucking important and something Terry has never had in his career. And, of course, make the right trades, signings, and draftings that serve the longevity of the team. It then relies on the head coach selected to replace Terry to adapt, adjust, and improve their game plans, schemes, and playbooks in order to get the best and most out of the players, while also ensuring the best outcome each season and postseason, as well as quality improvements and growth opportunities for the young guns on the team. And finally, of course, each and every player on the team whose job it is to communicate what it is they're seeing, experiencing, and noticing throughout each and every game, and giving suggestions on changes, things to try or improve on to the coaching staff in each game, and naturally to play smart, well and focused in order to obtain the best results throughout the seasons and playoffs each year. It's called a team for a reason, and it's because everybody plays an important role in ensuring that each year the team improves. The players and staff improve, and the results each year improve too. Without everyone involved being on the same page and playing, learning, and hyping together, there's no positive direction for the long-term future of the team. It's not a team at that point. It's just some group. Fact is, a team has to have the collective unity and cohesion in order to function well and as intended. Like, fact is, that's exactly the truth of it. Like, that's what I wrote, and that is exactly, like, that's the simple truth. Detailed, but summarized, put in short. That is exactly what has to happen this very off-season, starting right now with this loss today. It has to happen, or else there's, like, nothing's going to change. Everything's going to remain exactly the same. Nothing's going to change. We're just going to go for a 10th or more season, God forbid, straight of doing this, bashing our heads against the wall over and over and over and over and over again, desperately wanting a different result, which is, of course, to improve and to finally get through even the Western Conference Finals and win. We can't do that if we keep the same morons in charge. So what has to happen is that Neil O'Shea's got to be fired, Terry's got to be fired. You got to replace them with these competent two-way people that are very adaptable and quick to learn and add to their and expand their skill sets. And obviously we need desperately to trade 3J as well for some actual quality two-way players, and or, you know, on budgetable contracts for that matter, for picks, really high quality picks. Otherwise, we're just screwed, as we've been the entire time we've had them. I'm just another very fed up Portland Trail Blazers fan, obviously, but I know I speak for at least a third of the fan base, if not half of the damn fan base, because how are you not sick and tired of the same old every freaking year for nearly 10 years straight? God forbid they make it a decade. So, but yeah. So we got the gist of that, and yeah. See you, or maybe not, later. And also, by the way, if you're another team, we do finally get rid of those two, Terry and CJ. Do yourself a favor and don't do it. Don't take them on. Unless you want to be stuck in the same position we are, then I guess continue. I don't know why the heck you'd want to be stuck without banging your head against the wall like that. But anyway, tally ho. God, I hope these changes happen.